Two-time Pro Bowler, division rival Devon Weatherspoon has come out and said that Marvin Harrison Jr. is not that hard to guard. Go and dive right into exactly what he said about the Arizona Cardinals wide receiver 1 and 4th overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. Let's get started. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into another video. Definitely do me a huge favor, smack up that like button, subscribe for more Arizona Cardinals content. On this channel, we're covering the Arizona Cardinals news, breaking news, conversational pieces, everything surrounding your favorite team. So subscribe it up. It's absolutely for free. Now, obviously, right now, we are in the heart of the offseason for the Arizona Cardinals. The NFL season is officially over, right? We're already a week removed from the Super Bowl, and pardon me, but this actually clip comes from the Super Bowl festivities. So this is a clip that's been a week old, and for some reason it just came across my timeline here on X/Twitter. So I was only able to see this probably yesterday. So it's a week old. I don't know why I didn't see this sooner, but I wanted to kind of bring in my take in this whole situation and what Devon Weatherspoon, cornerback of the Seattle Seahawks, ended up saying about wide receiver 1 for the Arizona Cardinals in Marvin Harrison Jr., obviously being the 4th overall pick. There's a lot of people out there coming out saying that Marvin Harrison Jr. wasn't the pick at 4, or that his season wasn't as great as people anticipated it to be. I understand that people wanted, to see like Justin Jefferson or, Jamar Chase type of numbers, but honestly, I think I've seen a lot from Marvin Harrison Jr., and the numbers don't lie. Like, he actually had a really good rookie season, and if you compare him to the GOAT of the Arizona Cardinals, right, Larry Fitzgerald, it's pretty much on par with his numbers, and on top of that, his, Hall of Fame dad in Marvin Harrison. So, they're pretty much on par with those numbers as well in terms of the rookie season. So I got all the faith in the world here in Marvin Harrison Jr., but let's dive right into the clip here of Devon Weatherspoon, and he is sitting next to Jackson Smith-Njigba, which is a Ohio State wide receiver and his current teammate in the Seattle Seahawks, and they were talking about which players coming out of, which wide receivers coming out of Ohio State are the hardest to guard, and this is exactly what Devon Weatherspoon had to say.
Only Ohio State.
Receivers that we play.
Any other receiver, though?
So it would be him.
Yeah. Garrett,
was Marvin there? Did you have to deal with Marvin?
I did, but I don't think he's really. I don't think he's really more hard to guard. Like, I don't think he's that hard to guard.
Why?
Because he's a bigger receiver.
Right.
Doesn't have a separation.
But I mean, he contested catches though. Like, right. I think that's his best part about his game. It's like, even when you close on and you guard him pretty well, he can make contested catches.
Right.
So it's like, that's what frustrates you about him.
Yeah. Who's for you? Like, who's the more annoying thing? The big guy that you might not be able to physical with, or like Garrett Wilson, who can just plant and make you go all crazy ways.
So like the guys who can separate and create separation out of the line of scrimmage, right? Those are tough ones to deal with.
So there you have it. You have current cornerback of the Seattle Seahawks, Devon Weatherspoon, coming out and saying that Marvin Harrison Jr. is not that hard to guard. Now, there's a lot of kind of things to talk about in this specific clip. Now, shout out here to NBC Sports for obviously getting this interview here with JSN and Devon Weatherspoon, current cornerback here of the Seattle Seahawks. Now, there's a couple different things I really want to focus on this specific clip. One of them being the fact that there's a lot of Arizona Cardinal fans out there very upset with Jackson Smith-Njigba with not coming to the aid of his former teammate in Marvin Harrison Jr. Now, it's kind of funny because in the beginning of the clip, you hear JSN coming out and saying, "Oh, I forgot about Marvin Harrison Jr., right, coming out of Ohio State." Now, we all got to be clear here, ladies and gentlemen. Now, these guys are former college teammates. Now, they probably have some sort of rapport with each other. They probably have some sort of acquaintance with each other, but let's not act like they're best friends, right? Let's not act like they're, the best of friends out there. And on top of that, they're division rivals. Like, we got JSN and Devon Weatherspoon on an interview that are current Seattle Seahawk players, and you want them to be, glowing, gushy remarks about a division rival in Marvin Harrison Jr., which, let's call it like it is, ladies and gentlemen. Like, we're going to talk about the play and what Devon Weatherspoon has said, but like right now I really want to focus on the JSN thing. Like, I don't think anybody should be really upset that JSN didn't come out and say, well, this and that. In college, Marvin Harrison Jr. was seen as one of the best prospects coming out of college in a very, very, very long time. So that's why a lot of Cardinal fans were really excited about getting the opportunity of landing him at the 4th overall spot. Now, that did come to fruition. He is an Arizona Cardinal, and I'm actually really, really excited about his future and hopefully becoming the next Larry Fitzgerald on this roster and hopefully years of longevity of being the wide receiver for the Cardinals. And I'm really excited about his career. But I'm not going to come out here and sit here and say, get upset with JSN and saying things like, oh, you should have come to his aid. Why? Like why? Like, it's one of those things that people are kind of nitpicking on the thought that's like, I don't know, man. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, this is a really good interview. It was a really good insight to hear a player's perspective on things, because at the end of the day, we as fans, we're going to come to the aid of our player, right? We're Cardinal fans. We're going to come to the aid of our players, but we don't expect, or we shouldn't expect, JSN to come to the aid of a division rival, right? And a former teammate in Ohio State. JSN has done a really good job in this last year. He's probably going to be wide receiver 1, or if not, wide receiver 1.1 in Seattle for years to come. And there's a lot of rumors about potentially DK Metcalf getting moved off of. And let's be honest, Tyler Lockett is probably, reaching the end of his career. So he's going to be that next wide receiver 1 that the Cardinals need to really worry about moving forward. So I'm really excited about that, division rival, and see what we can do to potentially stop him, because the last 2 times we played him, JSN has made really, really good plays that kind of killed any hope that the Cardinals could have to win those 2 games. Obviously, we got swept by the Seattle Seahawks, so congratulations to them. And let's dive right into what Devon Weatherspoon had to say, right? So he came out and said that he doesn't feel like Marvin Harrison Jr. was that hard to guard, because obviously of him being a bigger wide receiver, not as twitchy, does not create a lot of separation. Now, this is coming from him, but one thing that he is wants to give him praise for is those contested catches. Right now, he did had more of those contested catches in college than he had in the NFL. Now, there was a couple here and there, right? But one of the biggest knocks that Cardinal fans, and I'm talking about Cardinal fans, have on Marvin Harrison Jr. is that, of course, there are some people out there that were expecting 1,300, 1,400 yards on a season. And on top of that, people don't feel like he was as physical, right? As physical as we wanted him to be. Now, I'm not really worried about that. Do I have that concern as well in his year 1? Of course I do, right? There was a couple balls that he probably should have fought for. There's a couple balls that he probably should have been a little bit more physical and fought for the ball, right? Those contested 50-50 balls. But there was some that he came down with. So Devon Weatherspoon did give him credit in saying that is part of his game that is very frustrating, but he did also give praise to players like obviously JSN, saying that he's one of the hardest, players to guard, those type of players that create separation, that are twitchy, that are really good in route running, giving praise to JSN. It makes sense. He's his teammate, right? He's his teammate in the Seattle Seahawks. What do you expect him to say? Of course, he's going to give JSN praise. Now, like I said, JSN has looked good this year, so I'll give him credit there as well. Now, they also talked about Garrett Wilson as well, wide receiver of the New York Jets right now, and he's saying that is the worst type of wide receivers to try to cover, because obviously route running ability, twitchiness creates separation, and he just gave a lot of love to those specific wide receivers out there right now. Of course, Cardinal fans are coming to the aid, or they want JSN to come to the aid of Marvin Harrison Jr. because we're kind of in our feelings, right? Or at least a portion of Cardinal fans are in their feelings, but honestly, you shouldn't be. Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to go absolutely off in year 2. I have no doubt in my mind that this guy is going to be the wide receiver 1 moving forward, and I have all the faith in the world that all the things that we had to talk about, or all the things that we had in terms of a knock on him, I think he's going to fix it, man. He's a 22-year-old guy, going to be 23 years old, heading into this next season. I think he's going to be fine. And let's not act like Marvin Harrison Jr. had such a terrible season. People want to talk about Marvin Harrison Jr. being the fact like, oh, he was like Traylon Burks numbers, right? Or Kevin White numbers. No, he's not. He's had more than enough, he's done more than any of those guys, right? Now, he didn't meet a lot of people's expectations. He didn't have 1,100, 1,300, 1,400 yards. That's the truth, right? And especially coming out of college, seeing that he was a generational talent and he skipped out of the combine, a lot of people had so much high expectations for Marvin Harrison Jr. The fact that some people are calling him busts out there. I don't understand why. I don't call players busts, especially after their year 1. It takes me a couple years to really figure out if they are going to be busts or not. Sometimes I don't like the pick, but I don't call people busts. But Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be fine, right? I'm not worried about Devon Weatherspoon's comments. This is going to be to his perspective and how he feels about, wide receivers and how he feels like the toughest wide receivers to guard is. And keep in mind, Devon Weatherspoon is a 2-time Pro Bowler. This is his year 2 in the NFL, so he has enough cred to back him up to say, hey, I mean, he's got an opinion. Let him announce it out there, right? Let him announce his opinion out there. And like I said before, JSM, Jackson Smith and Jigba, has done a really good job here in year 2 of his career. So congratulations to him. Hopefully nothing but success in the rest of his career, obviously not in Cardinal games, but for his endeavors, right? And what he can do in his personal life. So I'm not worried about this comment. I'm really not, but I understand how it ruffled the feathers of some Cardinal fans out there. So let me know what your guys' thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. Put all your thoughts here in the comments below. I appreciate y'all for tuning in as always. Have a great rest of your day and go Cardinals.